Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Kevin the Movie Guy. I'm back, and it's been a while, but I'm here, and that's all that matters. So, one thing I do want to talk about is Star Wars. Star Wars is something that I've loved for almost my entire life, and here recently, within the past couple of years, since Disney has started doing Star Wars movies, it's really become quite a toxic place as far as fandom goes. And I just don't get it personally. I love all these movies. I can understand some of the flaws of them, or even a lot of the flaws of them. But for people to just be completely disowning Disney and Star Wars in general, to me, is a bit ridiculous. For example, so I was watching Star Wars: The Last Jedi the other night, and it got me thinking. Gosh, this movie is really great. Um, I mean, it feels like a Star Wars movie, and it's got the intensity of what you want from a good Star Wars movie. It really, you know, brings back some of that same emotion that you get out of Empire Strikes Back. Um, as far as how your hero feels and, that connection that you have with your favorite character. Um, but yeah, the movie is, I think, is one of the better Star Wars movies. Um, Granted, it's got problems, but every movie has problems. To say a movie doesn't have problems is ridiculous. Um, but for one, before I get into it, uh, the reason why people say it's got problems or they're disowning Disney or whatever is because we live in this culture where we had like a year and a half to theorize and guess what was going to happen with this movie. And then when it didn't happen, everybody was disappointed that it wasn't their stance. It wasn't their of what they saw the movie was going to be. And when it's not that, then they're just like, no, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to love it. I hate it. Ryan Johnson's a jerk. Um, and I think that's a bit ridiculous. The planets that we go to are really neat. Even Canto Bight, that culture is really cool. The storyline, how it was executed, not so much. But the idea of basically a rich person planet, not like Coruscant that we've seen, but something a little more along the lines of like a kind of like a Las Vegas or something like that. And just to keep on bringing these new ideas to this huge, vast world of Star Wars, I thought was a really great idea. Um, then you had Crate, which was like opposite of Pathos Snow. This is beautiful salt and crystal planet, which was just completely gorgeous. The visuals of this movie are astounding, along with the music. So you got the visuals and the music right there. Uh, Star Wars. They were both Star Wars, and you cannot deny that. Um, and then you got the Star Destroyers, Star Wars. I mean, there's people that say, "Oh, I'm so tired of them doing a big gun. It's all they do is big guns." That's what the original trilogy was. Well, what can we use to blow up a planet? A planet size gun, basically the Death Star. And then when that was destroyed, what did they do? They had regular Star Destroyers, but then they got a Super Star Destroyer. And then Episode 6, what do? They get themselves a new Death Star. I mean, and when everyone's like, oh, they're just going to do Starkiller Base, which is just a bigger Death Star. I mean, isn't the end goal for the Empire slash the First Order to destroy these planets and cause the galaxy galaxy to be in fear? Like, that's what you want. What other weapon would you have that would do that? Um, and then again, the complaints about, oh, Snoke's just got a big old ship. We saw that in Empire. Darth Vader had his own huge ass Star Destroyer. It's not uncommon in the Star Wars universe. So I think just everybody just wants something to nag at, just to nag at. That's my feelings on it. Another thing, like Captain Phasma. Captain Phasma is, I do say they shouldn't have marketed her the way they did, but I understand it's for toys and trying to sell toys. But she is no different than Boba Fett. Boba Fett, he was on screen for a little bit in Empire, and then he was taken out just like that in Return of the Jedi. I mean, it's really no different with, Captain Phasma. She looks awesome, but at the end of the day, kind of a minor side character, just like Boba Fett. Now, the reason why Boba Fett's so popular is because we had all the toys and we had 40 plus years of Star Wars to, make stories up, make legend books, comics, all that. So to just be like, oh, well, they just, it's a little too much. People say they hate Rose Tico. I thought Rose Tico was a really great character. I thought she did wonderful. Kelly Marie Tran, I thought she did wonderful. I really enjoyed her character. Yeah, there was some like, I would say kid pandering moments, stuff that us adults would be like, eh. But, kids would love it. Kids look up to that character. I will say they could have done the whole Cantabite stuff better. They could have done that, but they didn't. And I mean, that's what we get. Just like in the prequels, I wish they would have done other stuff than what they did. Just like in Star Wars Episode 5, when Luke kissed Leia. They could have done something other than that, because now it's just creepy. It's again, everybody wants to criticize to criticize. But Last Jedi to me is a fantastic movie. I thought Rian Johnson did really good. So much good stuff. The criticism of Holdo didn't want to tell Poe the plans. Well, yeah, because she thought there was a traitor on board. You don't want your plans leaking to get that Snoke ship to kill you. I mean, literally, the Resistance is on the line, and you're head honcho, and you're gonna stick to your guns. She clearly had a great plan to begin with, and if it wasn't for Poe, Finn, and Rose, the Resistance would have slipped out undetected. But again, that's just how they did that to build up character and what have you. But I mean, it's unfair to judge Holdo for doing that, because I mean, just because you like Poe Dameron, anyway, I thought Holdo was a fantastic character. I really wish they wouldn't have killed her off. I think it'd been really cool to kind of have her take the lead ship with Carrie Fisher out, kind of have her take over where General Leia would have been. I thought that would have been cool, because I don't know how much back footage they got of Carrie Fisher, so I don't know how Episode 9 is going to fare. And then the last part of the Snoke and the Luke stuff, I thought it was very interesting how they got rid of Snoke. And now, granted, we don't know who Snoke is. We'll probably figure out in Episode 9. But, again, people say, oh, we barely saw Snoke. Well, I mean, you got enough of Snoke to figure out that he was a big bad guy that needed to be killed. In the original Star Wars trilogy, you had the Emperor pop up for a tiny second in Empire as a hologram, which Snoke in Episode 7 popped up as a hologram. He had a little bit more screen time, but. And then he had a bigger part in Last Jedi. And then he died. So, literally, 2 movies he died. Just like the Emperor, 2 movies he died. So to say that he didn't have enough screen time and we didn't know much about him, that's not really fair, because back in late 70s, early 80s, you didn't know who Sheev Palpatine was. You didn't know. You only knew that he controlled the galaxy, and that Darth Vader was his apprentice. That's all you knew, and you really didn't know that he used the Force. You were just told that he's not as forgiving as I am, and I mean, you didn't know that he had the Force up until he, started shocking Luke with lightning. You didn't know that. Again, we as fans of this only know it because it's been out for so long, and we've revisited it so many times, and it's ingrained in our head. We've read so many theories. We've read so many books, comics, all that stuff to fill in the space. This movie just came out last year and a half ago or whatever. I mean, we're not going to have as much in-depth detail knowledge as we do the stuff that came out prior. It's just not going to happen. And the whole thing with how people say that Kylo is a baby, I don't agree with that either. Kylo is he's struggling on the inside. He fell to the temptation of the dark side via Snoke. You could tell he was conflicted about killing his father. You could tell he definitely was conflicted about pulling the trigger on Leia. And he didn't do it because there's still some light now in him. He didn't want to kill Leia, and because of Luke almost killing him in his sleep, he holds hatred towards Luke. Which, again, if someone was going to kill you in your sleep, you'd be a little upset with them. And I just, there's a lot of layers there, and we got to see those layers when he was talking with Rey throughout the whole movie. And to be honest with you, I think he gets a bad rap. I really can't wait to see how he is in Episode 9. I think Adam Driver does an awesome job. And I love Rey. Rey is awesome. If she goes dark side, that's awesome. If she doesn't, that's great. And then to the people that say, oh, Kylo is irredeemable. He's irredeemable. I say that's dumb. Literally, you were okay with Darth Vader being redeemed. And he killed a bunch of younglings. He killed a bunch of rebels. He killed the Jedi. And you may say, well, we watched those before we knew that he killed all the younglings. In A New Hope, Obi-Wan tells him, Darth Vader hunted down and destroyed the Jedi. So you knew he killed a bunch of, protectors of the peace. You knew that. And you're still okay with him being redeemed. But because Kylo Ren killed Han Solo, you say he's irredeemable? I just think that's unfair, because we redeemed Darth Vader. Darth Vader did a lot worse stuff than what Kylo has done. Granted, Kylo killed one of our favorite characters, but Darth Vader, killed Mace Windu. Yeah. Killed Mace Windu. Basically killed Padme. Actually, he didn't kill Padme, but I have my own theory on that. But he killed, everybody at the temple. He killed so many people. It was ridiculous. He killed Obi-Wan. So, to say, he can't be redeemed, I think that's a bit childish, I do believe that Kylo gets a bad rap, and he deserves a chance. If he does turn the light side, I'm okay with it. I'm completely okay with it. And I kind of hope he does. I like Kylo as a bad guy, but you know what? There's got to be balance. And then lastly, everybody's upset that Luke Skywalker died. I think the way that Luke Skywalker went out is one of the most badass things to ever happen in a Star Wars movie. That force projection ability is just it, and you could tell earlier on in the movie when Kylo was talking about it. It takes so much strength to do that. It takes so much force and connectivity to the force to be able to do that, to be able to project yourself across the universe and make it feel like you're there in front of hundreds of people. And I just think it was just a badass way to go out. Granted, I would have loved to see him alive and take on Snoke or the Knights of Ren, but this way he went out. He gave hope to the rebellion, which A New Hope is Luke Skywalker. He gave hope to a new rebellion. And that's what you wanted from Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker, the myth, the legend. You want him to be that hope. You want him to spark others to join, to fight for, what is good and right in the world. And Luke Skywalker is that. And he did that. He did that really well. He did it to help the cause that he believed in at the end. Again, he shut himself off because he felt bad. He felt like a failure. And then when Yoda talked to him, failure is the greatest teacher of all. And that's when it clicked with him. That's when he knew, you know what, you're right. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to help Rey. I'm going to help my sister Leia. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to confront Kylo. I failed him as a teacher, but, let me face him. And it just showed that Kylo went in more to his hatred and rage. Yeah, I think with Luke dying, I'm okay with that. He went out on his terms. He went to the island to die. He was waiting to die there, and he was able to find use again. He was able to do something that he was taught to do through the Jedi. He was able to find purpose and to help bring light back into the world. And again, that's what Luke is. He's the new hope. He's the light. He is what caused Darth Vader to turn back good. He is what proved to the Emperor, hey, you cannot turn me. That's the Luke Skywalker we know, and that's the Luke Skywalker we got at the end. And yeah, of course he's going to be a grumpy old man at the beginning. He tried to start a Jedi Order, and his nephew killed almost all of them and turned on them. I mean, I don't know what else you want from him. But, so I love The Last Jedi. I think it doesn't get its fair due of credit. I think people are just overly harsh for Star Wars just to be harsh for Star Wars. And again, you can hate some of the movies if you want, but if you're a true Star Wars fan, you can still pick good stuff out of it. It's not all terrible. It's not all going to be great, and it's not all going to be terrible. So you can pick stuff out that is good. Porgs are amazing. If you hate everything, you cannot hate the Porgs. The Porgs are awesome. But yeah, so I just want to say that, give a little Last Jedi knowledge to you, and this unnecessary hatred towards it. I don't believe in it. But yeah, that's what I think of it, and yeah, have a good day.